All right, so I just want to do a quick update here on Hoopt-z. I mainly make these videos mainly for myself, just kind of document the progress I'm doing on the car and what I'm going through or what I'm doing with it. And then, eventually my grandkid will get it or somebody will get it, and then they can look back and see what the car was doing at this time. Anyway, as we all know, this car sat in my dad's property for about 20 years in the field, and we're just bringing it back to life. Ended up putting all new brakes on it, all new hoses. The brake steel lines were fine, and they actually all came loose really easily. So now it's got brakes. Got it running pretty good. I still need to jet the carb down a little bit. I ended up changing the intake manifold on it. It had a real bad leak on the China wall in the back. And one of the biggest pains was this power steering pump. It's really the only thing on the car that I haven't changed. It's got a new alternator, water pump, distributor, new radiator. But yeah, the power steering pump is still the original one. And what I had a problem with is the brackets. Back when I had my 81 Camaro in the early 90s, maybe late 80s. I think I had in the early 90s. I was about 18 or 19 when I got it. Anyway, these had the metric pumps on them, the Saginaw. And if you don't know, most of the small block pumps have the clock in at 6 o'clock, that rear stud. And these have it at 9 o'clock. And I don't know if they did that in 80 and 81 or if it was like 78 to 81. It was, towards the end of the second gen's body run. And I think it might have been 80, 81, but it might have went back as far as 78. I'm not sure. But they changed over to these pumps with the 9 o'clock position. And of course, if you buy aftermarket stuff, because I bought an aftermarket alternator kit that came with the power steering pump and all that, they all say online that it fits everything from 67 to 81. That's not true, especially on the Camaro. I don't know how the trucks are and all that, but I remember going through this a little bit back in the 90s when I was making that car fast and kind of cleaned up the engine compartment. And I think back then there was not, I think we just made our factory brackets work, but we just modified or whatever to make them look better. But this is the only kit I found that actually works for these year Camaros. And I think it's a March kit. I can leave the link in the description of the kit. But it mounts okay. The only thing I don't like about this kit is, like, say you have to change the water pump. There's no way to change the water pump without removing the power steering pump, which is, that's normal. But the only way to get the bolts off to remove the power steering pump would be you have to take your pulley off. So every time if you ever need to change the water pump or anything like that, or pull your power steering pump off to set off to the side for an engine swap or anything, you have to take your pulley off, which is a press-on, that's a press-in pulley, so that's kind of a pain to have to do that every time you want to take the power steering. I mean, obviously you're not going to take your power steering pump off all the time, but it's just something extra you have to do if you use the kit. And I argued with some Chevy guys at the swap meet. They all said, everybody's a Chevy expert. I'm sorry, but I've been doing this a long time too, and I'm no Chevy dummy. And I remember we were at the swap meet, and the guy's like, "These brackets will definitely work," and I said, "No, they won't." And we kind of argued about it. Well, I ended up buying the brackets, even though I knew I shouldn't have. They were only $30. But this guy, he says, "I sell," and he's at all the swap meets around here. He's like, "I sell these power steering brackets. I've never heard of a small block Chevy that won't work with." And I said, "So have you ever seen a 9 o'clock Saginaw pump?" And he acted like he didn't know what I was talking about. And it's like, okay. Well, anyway, I bought them $30. I said, I'll give it a shot. I knew they wouldn't work. Of course, I got back here, they don't work. So as far as I know, if you want to go aftermarket on these pumps, you have to get this kit here. And I guess I'll leave a description. I'm pretty sure it's made by March Pulleys. So car's running good now. Like I said, I need to rejet it. And I haven't really timed it in. I just kind of stabbed it in there and got it close, and now it doesn't backfire. It runs good. So I need to just do some fine tuning on it. And then this should all be done. And this engine's going to stay in there until I have a 454 that I could put in here, and I also have a 327, a 67 327, the high horse one. So I kind of want to preserve that and at some point and put it in something, but I don't know. My dream is always to have a big black Camaro, so that's probably what's going to go in here, but that's not going to happen for a while. I want to use this engine and have some fun with it for a little bit before I start tearing it back down. The only thing that the body needs is that rear quarter. It's got rust in it. The whole rest of the body is in really good shape the bumper has got a wound on it, but the rockers are in really good shape. The frame's in good shape. The floors do have some spots that need to be addressed. I'm patching in some floor pans right now. I'm just going to kind of rough them in for now, and I'm going to cut them into the floor and then rough them in, but I'm not going to weld them or anything until he's ready to do that quarter panel. But I just want to be able to drive the car, not have wind coming up and stuff, so I'm just going to rough those in for now. I did get some nice seats for it, second gen seats that were just redone. They're black, they're in really good shape. I'm pretty excited about that. And then I found out I have no rear lights, nothing. And of course I got back there and the mice ate through the wires where it goes into the tail pan back there, and which, you know, I kind of figured with it sitting in the field for 20 years in the grass that, you know, I'd have mice damage. So I got to fix that. I went ahead and fixed all the wiring on it, and I need sockets now, so now I got to wait for the sockets to come. I'm waiting for that. And then the doors need motors. Both the motors are out. Got power going to them, but they're dead. And then outside door handles, and then this side's getting the new door latch mechanism. It's like $80 a Summit, and the reason being is that striker inside falls down on its own when you open the door, and then when you go to close the door, you can't close it. You got to lift it back up to get the door closed. It's kind of a pain. It's not worth dealing with. So anyway, that's about it. I got to move it out of the garage here to work on something else. But yeah, it's got a 750 on it. It came off a big block truck, so it was way over jetted. And it's got the choke. It's been taken off, and a lot of it. The carburetor is set up for a much bigger engine, more powerful engine. So I've had to kind of detune the carburetor quite a bit. And right now, I think it's got 80 something in the rear on the jets, and I think it has. I put 68s, I think, in the front, and it's running pretty well. Still a little fat, but I'm going to maybe bring it down a little bit in the front, and then I might just put the ones in the front right now in the rear because it doesn't need 80 something in the rear. And then go from there with that, and then time it in with a light, and then it should be good to go. It's got everything new on it basically. So it's got all new tires. I got a new steering wheel for it. I got ignition lock right now. It gets started by a screwdriver. I have no keys for the car, no door keys, no trunk keys, and no ignition keys. So I ordered a new ignition lock for it so I can at least have keys to the car to start it. And then I got to put that in, put a new steering wheel in. So it's just a lot of little stuff. We are going to go to Street Machine Nationals in June. And so I might see some people there. And then we're going to go do the power tour. They come through St. Louis Wednesday of the next week, and then they go to Springfield Thursday. So we're going to join them Wednesday and Thursday. And then I'm going to cut off from there and go probably visit my dad for a day. He lives in Poplar Bluff, east of there. So I'll probably shoot over that way, visit them, and then go home. But that's the plan for the Hoopt-z. And I'm sorry, there's no LS swap coming. I like the LS engine. I work on them all the time, but this car is definitely never going to see an LS as long as I own it. Those guys, these LS guys, they kind of remind me of the Harley guys. They're just in a cult. Like, all they think is the LS is the best engine ever made, and you got to have fuel injection. And I guess call me old school, but I still like my carburetors. I don't want to have to pay a tuner to tune my car every time I make a change on it and have all that expensive stuff. I just want this car to be simple and easy, and eventually fast without having to, I don't know. Like, I got my opinions about LS swaps. I think they're great in some cars, and I think other cars, they should be left alone. And it's not like this small block. You can make 500 to 700 horsepower of a small block pretty easily nowadays. So unless you're going to run big turbos and spend even more money on tuning and all that, then you know, some of these cars can stay the way they are as far as what engines in them. And you know, like I said, I'm not that old school. I remember when I first got in the car scene, started going to Street Machine Nationals in the late 80s and early 90s. Probably the first one I went to was 89 or 90. Everybody was putting TPI engines in their older cars and thought that was really neat. I know the LS is way better than that, but and like I said, I'm no LS hater, but I do get kind of tired of the cult mentality and seeing all these cars, and then everyone thinks it's super cheap and easy, and that's why you see all these cars on the marketplace. I mean, my son did it on his IROC, and I think sometimes he kind of wishes he would have concentrated on the 350 that was in there. But, I mean, either way, it's a nice car, and I'm not against fuel injection or carburetors. I made my living working on fuel injection cars, so and I still do, so I'm not against it. But I don't know, something about this just brings back a lot of good memories, and it's super easy to work on. I just rewired this car. You know, the only thing this car really has is distributor, alternator, and starter. And, you know, obviously windshield wipers and little stuff like that, but there's nothing on this car. It's just a basic, simple, easy car to work on. And it's been kind of a joy, other than the fact that it wants to fight me about everything. Like taking it for a test drive and coming back and the transmission lines are leaking. And they're rotted out by the frame, so I had to replace those with stainless. And anytime anything goes on in this car, you got to replace everything with it seems like. But it, you know, it's gonna fight me now, but maybe to be a better car down the road as far as reliability and stuff. So it hasn't been started in like 4 days. Let's see. You see, it's cold. Let's see if it'll start without pumping it. I think it will. It'll sit there for a couple days, even on a hill sometimes, and it'll fire right up without pumping it. It's almost like it's fuel injected, but it's not. Just a good old-fashioned Holley 750. Let's see what we got. Got to turn my screwdriver in here. That's why we call it the Hoopt-z. There you go. What? So that's for sitting about 4 days. Fired right up. So anyway, let's update on the Hoopt-z. Hopefully we can get this thing. I got to get some work done on it, and I'm starting to panic because we're not that far off from. I'm only 1 day away from May, and I really thought I'd have to be driving it by May, which maybe I still can. I got. Well, I can drive it now. I just don't have any rear lights or anything. I'm waiting for the sockets, but. I have taken it out about 10 miles all the way. I've taken it out twice for about 5 miles each, so yeah, it runs good now and shifts and everything. So we're pretty close. I just need to button up a bunch of little loose ends on it. But if I'm still in this situation 2 weeks from now, then I'm going to panic. So hopefully I can get some work done on it in the next week or so. Make a lot of progress with it. Get the inspection, get plates for it and stuff. So that's the update on the Hoopt-z. Yeah, like I said, we're going to try to make Street Machine Nationals in Des Moines if people want to come down, or if you're going to be there, stop by and say hi or whatever. And then we're going to do the power tour, so hopefully we'll see some people out there too. Anyway, that's it for Hoopt-z for today. Thanks for watching. As always, God bless.